The second place battle is a hot one. Dan Simpson with Steve Glassy now applying the pressure as Peterson has been drop kicked back to the field. They're making time on the leader.
Ooh, and there's the car in 5th place.
Bill O'Connor.
Bill O'Connor leaving a very nice looking trail of smoke.
The lead battle has really tightened up. As pushing John Paul beneath the bridge is Dan Simpson. Over the rough strips and down the hill to turn 12. Front 3 cars about to move into lap traffic. And they're cutting to the inside of Simpson. And to the outside goes Steve Glassy. John Paul gets back across the groove and is dropped to 2nd spot.
A real bit of excitement there as the guys have been racing for 2nd. Simpson and Glassy caught up with the leader, John Paul, and at the same time they caught up with their first piece of lap traffic and causing John Paul Jr. to lose his 1st place. Dan Simpson assuming quite a healthy looking lead now.
Still that power score.
Maybe he is in fact losing a little bit of power.
Dick, that tight shot coming down the hill is fantastic.
Paul's engine smoking quite considerably now.
He has dropped to the 3rd spot. Simpson, the new leader, out of turn number 7. And moving up to 2nd in a wholesale change of positions is Peterson. Glassy is back to 3rd as John Paul backslides to the field and makes contact with Bill O'Connor.
Bill O'Connor's car is also smoking quite considerably, or was on that last lap.
Greg Atwell has moved up a position, driving the yellow car, number 24. 7 of the top 10 qualifiers in Lotus, 3 in Tiga, both a British manufacturer, I believe.
Tiga, or Tiger as we call it, is made by Howard Ganley and Tim Schenken, both very well-known ex-racing drivers, both have a lot of Formula 1 experience. They formed a company in England, and they make these little sports cars and little Formula cars. Right, both of them.
John Paul down the pit road and a sharp left turn back to the paddock.
A very disappointed young man, but at 20 years of age, he's got a long way to go, and he's got a lot of experience to gain, but he's also extremely quick, and I'm looking for a very bright career for John Paul Jr. Well, Dan Simpson, and all that shuffling around for 1st place, seems to have pulled himself out a considerable lead and is enjoying the sort of lead that John Paul Jr. was enjoying before he had engine trouble. And everybody else is falling all over themselves to get back into the lead, and meanwhile giving Dan Simpson a pretty trouble-free run.
2nd and 3rd remains closely contested. John Peterson and Steve Glassy, cars number 66 and 70. Johnson is a defending national champ in a different class. That's a production car and a sprint racer. Peterson and Glassy, 2nd and 3rd. Peterson in 2nd, followed by Glassy. As in the pits is Rick Gallus of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Beautifully turned out machine.
You'll notice that car is wearing the number 48 because the car is sponsored by Bobby Unser's Chevrolet dealership out there, and of course it's carrying Bobby Unser's number on it, number 48. And if course, it's also painted in Bobby's colours. Very attractive car. Steve Glassy, that's giving our man there, number 66, John Peterson, such a hard time. Steve Glassy looks like he's driving like John Paul Jr., who was 20. Well, Steve Glassy is just 2.4 times as old as John Paul Jr. He's 44 years old, but driving with a great deal of verve and determination out there.
This is one sport where age is not a factor as far as major sports go.
It only starts to become a factor when you get into your late 40s. And I think even then the main thing that goes away is that you just don't take the chances that someone like Steve Glassy is taking at the moment, because he seems to be doing pretty well at the moment.
Not doing very well at the moment is Bill O'Connor, whose car was smoking earlier. He qualified fourth, but will not finish this national championship race.
Obviously, the magic hand of Brian Redmond did not do the car much good.
Second, third, and fourth place battle. Peterson, Glassy, and Johnson. Along with Greg Atwell, who moves on Johnson.
Determined not to give up, Greg Atwell qualified second, had a bit of a run-in with Dan Simpson early on in the race. He's been running in 6th position, but now is making a determined go again.
Beneath the bridge goes John Peterson. He and Steve Glassy have fought the second position back and forth. As in the pits is Larry Campbell of West Bloomfield, Michigan. Since I have an entry list, would you please give me numbers on the Front five snake through the S's. Dan Simpson, the Sports 2000 leader, running in second spot. As Simpson crosses the apex just a bit on the dirt there of turn 5.
Considering that early on in the race, Simpson and Atwell and Glassy and Peterson were having such a close race, it seems Simpson must have done something somewhere to get himself this lead. He had a bit of luck there when they got into that Shimoza with the back marker and John Paul's engine going off all at the same time. Opened the field up, it's given Simpson quite a handy lead here. Which he would have been very hard put to have worked away to get a lead like that. Without
There has been a shuffle the deck kind of deal for second spot, which has helped Simpson. But now the second, third, and fourth place cars have lined up in drag to try and make some ground on the leader. There is Simpson. That car separating him in the second, third, fourth, and fifth place battle.
that car is a car number.
Whoa! Glassy and Atwell. Or rather, Peterson and Atwell. At turn 12.
For second place, we've had two cars collide. The drivers are
Both
okay.
cars considerably damaged.
One of those cars is car number 66.
Peterson's car goes behind the rail.
He was running second.
As Atwell goes on to the pits.
That was a pretty spectacular, hair-raising moment, right under the starting stand. Right at the start finish line, but a few laps too soon. In fact, 4 laps too soon for either of these drivers.
John Peterson out of his race car at turn 12. His day is over.
He was the winner of the Western Division, 30 years old, driving a Lola, but not destined to be national champion in 1980.
Here is the new second place car. John Fergus of Columbus, Ohio. What happened to 70? There is Steve Glassy, car number 70. He is the second place car and was just ahead of the Freitas involving Peterson and Atwell. Dan Simpson, a look in his mirror. At second spot, Steve Glassy. As they come to turn number 1, separation 3 seconds. The race over.
She said.
No, not in terms of laps, just in terms of interest. 4 to go, 4 laps to go. 3.5.
Dan Simpson wearing his Simpson helmet, one of the latest in protective headgear there. Looking very Darth Vaderish.
Gonna get a replay. Did you hear him?
No.
Okay, we're gonna get a replay. What the?
Okay, there we see.
Again, please. Did he have trouble with that hand in the air? Yeah. All right. 66 Peterson. Red car Peterson.
Atwell.
White car Atwell.
And who's the other one that's right with them?
The black car.
Larry Campbell.
Steve Johnson is the black car, right? 80. Yeah, 81.
There we see John. There we see a bunch of cars coming down into turn 11. Johnson, car number 66, Atwell, car number 41, right behind him. And right behind them is Campbell. And coming through turn 11, Peterson suddenly throws his hand in the air. I think maybe his car suddenly slowed up and stopped, because you see the brake lights on Atwell's car, but nevertheless he makes contact with the back of Peterson's car, doing considerable damage to both of them, ripping the bodywork right off the back of Peterson's car there, spinning Atwell round and round and round. Both going off onto the grass, and in fact both backing into the guardrail there. It could have been that Peterson's car there absolutely quit on him, because he suddenly put his hand up in the air. I don't think he was waving him past.
Well, we didn't have Johnson there. He is. With the what? Hey, that's good. You want to go back and do it and mention Johnson again, and then we can show him with the front end gone?
Yeah, so it's turn 12, that's right.
Thank you.
And that's Johnson that's right in front of them.
Steve Johnson is the black car behind him that piles into that.
Who's just in front of him?
He was just in front, 70, the second place car, Classic, gets away. Dan Simpson has opened up a wide margin on the field, with all the action happening behind he and second place car Steve Glassy, as we're in the final lap of Sports 2000. A sizable margin as we're in
and Johnson. And at this stage, Peterson suddenly throws his hand in the air going through turn 12. Atwell brakes hard on. You see the lights come on, runs straight to the back of him, spins him round. And Johnson runs into the back of Atwell. Atwell and Peterson both spinning wildly round, their bodywork flying off the back of Peterson's car, and they both back into the guardrail.
That is Dan Simpson and car number 70, Steve Glassy. A sizable margin as we're in the final lap of Sports 2000. Of the cars involved in the accident, Steve Johnson was able to continue in car number 81. He's still on the course, but minus all of that car's front bodywork from the crash.
It certainly looks as if Peterson had a sudden engine failure, threw his hand up in the air to warn Atwell, who of course was so close he could do nothing about it.
His car started to spin pretty violently, as if something had locked up.
It could have been if he just suddenly lost power in the middle of turn 12 there. And look at this finish. They're coming up to the flag. And Simpson's lead has absolutely evaporated. Glassy right behind him.
Glassy working the draft, coming toward the Dotson Bridge, looking for a shot at the Sports 2000 National Championship. Simpson sets it up, coming for the bridge, out turn 11. And around goes the leader. Simpson hits the rail, bounces off violently back onto the race course, and taking the checkered flag is Steve Glassy, the new Sports 2000 National Champion.
Well, what an incredibly action-packed race.
There is Dan Simpson, who had it won until the next to last turn after 18 laps of racing. Simpson climbing out, pounding the steering wheel of his race car.
With about 400 feet to go, he completely lost his cool and spun the car right under the nose of Stephen Glassy, who then went on to win the national championship. I don't think that Glassy ran into the back of him.